Welcome. Welcome for another session for the subject Power System Stability. Today we are going to start for unit number 4, that is related with transient stability studies. Let us see what are the topics that we are going to cover for today's session. The first point, it is power system stability and its consequences related with the instability, disturbances threatening the stability of a system, stability limits, and what is stability envelope, right? Let us have quick recap for the previous session. Up till now we have completed unit number 1, and in the last session we have already started this unit number 4. The first point that we covered in previous session, that was related with very important definitions of power system stability and its classification. We discussed there what are different power system states. As we know, 3 states are important to have thorough study for this subject, that is steady state, transient state, and dynamic state, right? Then we also define power system stability. We have seen how the power system stability problem is classified and what is the importance, why there is a need to classify power system stability. 3 important classes are there for power system stability, as rotor angle stability, frequency stability, and voltage stability. Depending upon the type of the disturbance and duration of that disturbance, these are further subclassified as what steady state. If we concerning with the rotor angle stability, then it is further classified into 3 classes again, that is steady state stability, transient stability, and dynamic stability, right? Then also we have seen few comments on these classification, and further we have thorough definitions for power system stability problem, right? Let us see again what is power system stability. Recall that definition: the ability of the system to maintain stable operation after the disturbances. In short, one can define power system stability as what? The ability of the system to maintain stable operation after the disturbance. To maintain stable equilibrium point, one can say also, after different kinds of disturbances. You may have one question, that why we go for power system stability analysis? What is need? It is important, as again recall that golden rule, RSS. That is what? Reliability, stability, and security. These are main 3 pillars for power system, any power system. So for that point of view, from that point of view, or why there is need to have the power system stability analysis, the main point it is that for increased transmission efficiency, to understand how the transmission efficiency can be increased, how maximum power can be transferred from generator to load, for improving, for increasing reliability of the complete system or complete grid, and of course all these factors should be considered under economical point, right? We also know that power system must maintain certain conditions for maintaining stable operation. As we have seen, there are certain parameters that must be kept as far as possible constant, such as voltage and frequency. Still, variations is allowed for these factors. As an example, for voltage variations plus plus minus 6%, frequency variations plus 5 to minus 5%, right? Then what happened if power system loses stability? What causes makes power system unstable? Let us see. What are the consequences of instability? Synchronous machine slip poles, that means generator tripping. There will be large power swings due to instability, mal-operation of protective devices, interruption of critical loads, low voltage conditions due to which motor drop-offs and damage to equipment. Not only this, very serious factor, that is complete blackout, right? Which is not required from economy point of view of that country, right? You can see here blackout, that is unexpected outages that had been occurred throughout the world. Okay, recent blackout that happened in India, that was on 31st July 2012, and that was completely for 24 to 28 hours, right? You can also see for this 2012 blackout which portion was greatly affected. That is location map of blackout at the year 2012. You can observe in this map. So how many grids were collapsed and which portion of country was powerless, that you can observe here. The three grids, that is northern grid, eastern grid and northeastern grid. These were which were supplying or interconnecting more than half of the country. They collapsed on Tuesday 31st July 2012, triggering a major power crisis. The blackout, one of the world's most widespread, left about 600 million people without electricity. Okay, you can observe here huge traffic jam in Delhi due to this blackout. Not only this, there are serious effects when power system loses stability. That is, power system instability not only affected blackout but also affects, it is having great effect on equipment damages which is used in power systems. Maybe transmission line, 500 kV line open under load, substation transformer failure, explosion, high voltage, fire, etc. You can observe this picture also. It is example from other country, that is 2007 Dalman accident. This is all due to power instability. See, the disasters occurred in that part, right? So power system instability having certain these significant impact on the overall system. So let us see what causes makes power system unstable, right? What are these causes? Sudden tripping of circuit breakers are turning off huge loads at load end, sudden breakout of generating units or sudden increment of load demands, capacitors banks under no load, short circuits. See, short circuits are really important. Okay, so these short circuit fault like LG, double LG, triple L, triple LG faults. Then switching surges because of lightnings and fault trippings of circuit breakers. Transmission lines overloaded beyond surge impedance loading. Okay, so there is one question for you. during our discussion, just tell me what you mean by surge impedance loading of transmission line, that is SIL, right? Then how to overcome or increase stability? Obviously by increasing maximum power transferring capability of transmission lines. Then how? Let us see also what are the disturbances that threatening the stability of a system. Again, we have to classify these disturbances, and according to the classification of these disturbances, we have seen power system stability classification, right? Related with the particular group, that is rotor angle stability, right? So small and large disturbances. First, that is a power system is subjected to a variety of disturbances. These are classified into two categories. Which are these? Small disturbances. Disturbances also can be called as perturbations. Then large disturbances. Let us see for small disturbances or perturbations. These are characterized as small if the changes in system states are small due to these perturbations. Right? Random changes in load which occur in the system continuously are an example of small perturbations. Stability problem associated with small perturbations is known as what? Dynamic stability. What are large disturbances or large perturbations? A power system may be subjected to large perturbations such as occurrence of faults on the line, loss of large generating units, loss of major transmission facilities, and loss of large loads. Right? Let us recall definitions that we already have seen in previous session. The stability of synchronous machines depends on the state of the network and the nature of the disturbance that we discussed already. In general, the rotor angle stability problems are classified into three types, which are those: steady state stability, transient stability, and dynamic stability. What is steady state stability? The ability of the power system to remain in synchronism when subject to small disturbances. Small disturbances, as an example, switching on of load. Small disturbances, these are generally occurring throughout the day on the system due to random variation of loading and so on. Transient stability. That is the main point that we are going to discuss today for this unit also. That is how we are going to define this. The stability problem associated with large perturbations or large disturbances is known as transient stability. That is ability of the system to remain in synchronism when subjected to large disturbances. It concerns with the study of behavior of the power system when it is subjected to fast changes with large magnitudes. Right? Excuse me. Transient stability studies are normally performed for a period of 1 second. The faults that are normally taken into consideration for transient stability studies are faults of heavily loaded lines, the tripping of a loaded generator or the dropping of a large load, sudden changes in application or removal of loads, line switching operations, line faults, or loss of excitation. These are certain large disturbances that has to be considered while studying transient stability. Right? The transient stability limit is generally lower than the steady state stability limit. In practice, transient stability is determined by computer calculation. Manual calculation is possible only in simple cases. Okay, that's why you may observe, if you go through the book, that is Nagrath Kothari for Power System Analysis, from the computer calculation point of view for transient stability, you may observe there are two methods, that is Euler modified method and Runge-Kutta method. And you have already known these methods, or you might have been learned these methods in the subject either optimization technique or CMPSC, right? Then third definition, that is dynamic stability. After a fault, an individual synchronous machine may remain in synchronism during the first swing. After this, strong electromechanical oscillations occur, may cause the system to have natural oscillations. Now, these lines are important. The system is said to be dynamically stable if the oscillations don't exceed a certain magnitude and die out quickly. That means the system is well damped. Okay, I will repeat these again. The system is said to be dynamically stable if the oscillations don't exceed a certain magnitude and die out quickly. And what happens if these oscillations are not quickly damped out from the system? These oscillations may grow exponentially. That means rotor angle delta becomes too large, so that system will lose its synchronism and system becomes unstable. That is dynamically unstable system or dynamic instability, right? Dynamic stability of a given power system can be improved through the use of power system stabilizers, right? From our syllabus point of view, we are focusing on mainly two types of the power system stability problem, and those are steady state stability and transient stability, right? Dynamic stability study is normally carried out for a period of 5 to 10 seconds and sometimes to 30 seconds. Okay, so depending upon the period of analysis of that particular stability, these are further classified as what? Small signal stability or large signal stability, right? Excuse me. Dynamic stability is an extension of steady state stability where the dynamic effects of synchronous machines and automatic control devices such as governors and voltage regulators are included. Okay. Now these are again few important definitions related with stability. These are related with stability limits. Okay. The stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred in a network between sources and loads without loss of synchronism, right? Excuse me. So I will repeat this. What is stability limit? Or one can say steady state stability limit. The steady state stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred in a network between sources and loads without loss of synchronism when subjected to small disturbances. Because what I am saying now, it is steady state stability limit. The definition given here, it is related with only stability limit. That what exactly mean by stability limit. Okay. So steady state stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred in a network between sources and loads without loss of synchronism when subjected to small disturbances. In short form, it is always represented by SSL, steady state stability limit, SSL, right? And another one, that is a dynamic stability limit. The dynamic stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred without the system becoming unstable under small disturbances lasting for a long time. Right? Then coming for important definition related with transient stability limit. The transient stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred without the system becoming unstable when a sudden or large disturbance occurs. Okay, now you might have understood these definitions, specifically steady state stability limit and transient stability limit. Of course, limit, that means what? Ability to transfer maximum power. It is the limit, means what? The stability limit or steady state stability limit is the maximum power that can be transferred in a network when subjected to either small disturbances or large disturbances. Right? So in general, the transient stability limit is the lowest, whilst the steady state stability limit is the largest. So you can observe here, transient stability limit less than dynamic stability limit and less than steady state stability limit. Most of the times, there is a question that explain or why transient stability limit is less than steady state stability limit. Right? So take this question as for your homework and let me know answer for this question during discussion meet for the next session. Okay? Now this is diagram showing the stability envelope. Observe this diagram carefully. What we observe, that total megawatt system grid utilization is equal to internal generation plus tie line inputs. What we expect for stability, there must be balance between generation and demand. So, energy is transferred from generator to loads as single line diagram have been shown on the upper side of this slide. Okay, generator, then transmission line and to the loads. Now, we know that stability problem can be well understood by studying power angle curve. Power angle curve, that is P versus angle delta. Delta, it is the rotor angle or load angle or also power angle. So if we draw this power angle curve, we observe one peak point is there, that is maximum loadability, that is steady state stability limit point is there, right? So to the left hand side of that point, the system is stable. You can observe different regions have been shown. And if an attempt is made to transfer power beyond this point, that is beyond steady state stability limit, system loses its synchronism. It becomes unstable. So you can observe instability region to the right hand side of that peak point. Understood? So for understanding or analyzing two main problems or powers of power system stability as steady state stability and transient state stability, power angle curve plays a very crucial role or important role. So this power angle curve we are going to study in detail when we learn about very interesting criteria related with transient stability analysis, that is what equal area criteria. So when we are going to see that equal area criteria and its application related with the transient stability, these power angle curve, we are dealing with this power angle curve. So that's why we can say power angle curve plays an important role in analyzing system stability, right? So what one can say, bottom line of today's discussion is that we have to concern while studying power system stability mainly for power angle curve. There is, when we see the power angle curve, that is P versus delta, we observe there is a one peak point at an angle delta is equal to 90 degree. That peak point shows steady state stability limit. Up to that point or up to that steady state stability limit point, the system is said to be under stable region. But as soon as it crosses that point, system enters into instability region. Okay, you can observe these regions on this diagram, right? So let us summarize key points for today's session. We have seen power system stability and consequences of instability. We have seen what are the significant effects if power system loses its stability. Why there is need to study system stability problem. Also, we have seen what are the blackouts that are occurred throughout the world, significant related with India, that was occurred on July 31st, 2012. 3 grids were completely collapsed, that we have seen. Why we have discussed these points here? Because one must know before studying transient stability, either transient stability problem or steady state stability problem in depth, one must know that what are the consequences if stability of the system is not considered. That's why we discussed here. Then also we have listed different kinds of disturbances which are threatening the stability of a system. Then we have again defined rotor angle stability and its different types. That is, what is steady state stability, what is transient stability, and what is dynamic stability. We have said that stability phenomena or the stability definition, these are dependent upon the kind of or the nature of disturbance and the duration of that disturbance existing on the system. So when we say about steady state stability, that means these are related with small disturbances. When we say about transient stability, that means related with large disturbances. And for dynamic stability, if the oscillations due to small disturbances, there will be the oscillations in the system, and if these oscillations are not quickly damped out from the system, they may grow exponentially and delta becomes too large and system become unstable, dynamically unstable, right? And then we discuss about stability limits as steady state stability limit, dynamic state stability limit, and transient state stability limit. That is the limit for which the maximum power transferred can be transferred without loss of synchronism when subjected to either small disturbance or large disturbance. And then accordingly we classify as what? Steady state stability limit and transient state stability limit. And it is also observed that transient state stability limit is the smallest one in comparison with steady state stability limit and what? Dynamic state stability limit. Then we have seen stability envelope. It is really important. You must know regions of stability and regions of instability on the power angle curve. Power angle curve, that is curve drawn between P versus delta. Right? So that's all for today's session. Thank you. Thank you to all.